So here we go. Getting closer and closer to the end of the series. I went with a interesting film, one that I've been meaning to check out, and when I checked it out, I was like, wow, this was interesting. And that's probably the best word I could use to describe it, because I don't know if there's really a lot of enjoyment to find out of this. At least for me personally, it's Victoria, a one shot, the real deal, a film shot entirely in one take. This is not a new idea. First idea of like one take cinema being done. A film at least made to look in one take was done. There's probably earlier examples, but the first one that comes to mind is Rope from Alfred Hitchcock. That's 1948. I have not seen that, but I know that one's not legit, and it makes sense that it's not legit because they probably didn't have the technology to do entirely one take. Other than that, the movie Birdman presented in one take. Irreversible is presented in one take. Before this film came out, Victoria, there's one other example of like an entirely one-take cinema film, and that would have been Russian Ark from 2001. I've not seen that as well, but this is probably the most famous one now for just being the real deal. Straight from the Wikipedia page, it was shot in some neighborhoods in Berlin, 4:30 a.m. in the morning, 7 a.m., April 27th, 2014. But even if it's a one take, I think that's both. It's impressive and both kind of a done. You can't do a lot in one take. They had an interesting idea for like an actual story or like what a plot. I think it'd be more interesting for like sort of a like visual, like just experimental film, little to no story, maybe even a concert film would be interesting all done. But for an actual like narrative, it's a little rough. It's not the best. There's probably could have been done better. That's why I'm more interested in watching something like Russian Ark, because I do think it's probably is a real one take film. I don't know if there's any cuts in that, but it's like 10 times more interesting of a story, at least from the description I've read. But here we go. It just follows this Spanish woman in Berlin. She's like living there for like a few months, and she's at like a nightclub. We come back to this nightclub later. She's just having a night out in the town. Comes out, and on her way home or on her way to her job, I believe, where I think she lives there, which is very interesting. I've never heard of that. People living at their work. She meets these couple of these Berliners. They keep on repeating to you that they're Berliner. Some real sweet and tender hooligans. These people are eventually commit general scale crime. It's good scaffolding to hold up this impressive. What really grips me is the amazing camera work, and you think it'd just be entirely one take, but it uses it like there's a couple montages in this film somehow in one take. How do you do that? Well, I mean, you just cut out general sound and you just put in like a score and have a scene kind of play out. There you go. That's how they do a montage in this film. Not only that, we also get like wides, we get over the shoulders. There's definitely a thought process behind the composition. That's really what gripped me from here and there about this. If you watch this, you probably won't get sucked into the plot. There is good characterization in it, especially from Berliner that our main character meets. I think they're more interesting than our actual lead, who's like boring. I don't care if she was like really into piano, but not really trying to reveal a lot, but the final like 30 minutes are pretty great, pretty anxiety inducing film. Comes from like the same side. If you really like the After Hour, Good Time, those are some great films that this reminds me of. It's not nowhere near as good as those, especially Good Time. I'm a big fan of that film. And After Hours, a classic, and I want to see more films like those two, and this is good among those genre. And if that's really more of your vibe, that's what you're looking for, this is a great addition to that. Yeah, I'd recommend it. Victoria, this is great. Go watch it. And next letter should be W. Thank you.